Hello, for this video, I'll be presenting how to use t-test one sample or one sample t-test. So t-test has a lot of formulas or measurement. So this would include very madami no. But for the video tutorials, I'll just present three of the most common measurements. So this would include one sample t-test, dependent sample t-test, then independent sample t-test. Okay, so remember that when we use t-test, our independent variable should be grouped into two. So males and females, public versus private, SLU versus non-SLU, uh, communist versus capitalist. So ganun yung pag-measure natin sa t-test. Now, before going to the other measurements, the most basic again would now be one sample t-test. So technically, from the definition, t-test is used when we attempt to compare mean of your sample data to a known value. So that known value is known to be, examples would be the average mean, median, population mean, population median as well, threshold, standard values. So that is now we attempt to compare from a standard. So in your independent variable, paano naging two groupings yan? We look into the sample, then we now look into the standard. So dalawang groupings yan, no? Okay. Now, let's have some exercises. So if you want to manually know the computation, it's okay. However, it's best then to look into the manual computation for us to know the usage of one sample t-test, especially when you are doing Excel or your SPSS. So, ganito no? Okay. So, may I just read the exercise? The standard systolic BP is 120 milligrams per mercury. So, a social worker believes that a barangay suffers from hypertension. The Spuruktu, sorry kasi I just copied it. The Spuruktu of that barangay suffers from hypertension. If you have your notes, nandun yung example, no? Okay, so this is the sample. So look, sample data, then to a known value. So you want to know hypertension. Now in medicine, we have provided a standard, diba? That would now be your systolic, which would now be 120. So given, okay. So given, we wanted now looking into the exercise or into the direction, you already have an assumption of you're comparing two means. Yung two means, no? Yung mean from the sample and the standard value, 120. Okay. So selected respondents, yan. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 7 respondents. So N is 7. Yung median natin, which is now 120, or your population mean, sorry, 120 systolic. Yan yung standard. Kunin natin yung mean ng sample natin, 126. Now, from your 120 to your 126, pwede ka nang gumawa ng assumption na tendency pwedeng high blood sila kasi mas mataas siya sa standard. However, kulang yan. Kaya gumagamit tayo ng t-test para malaman natin kung may difference talaga. Although from this assumption, baka high blood nga sila, no? Your alpha level, always remember 0.05. Respondents natin 7. We also need to get your standard deviation, no? Standard deviation, which is now 9.62. Okay, so first things first, when we do inferential statistics, t-test, ANOVA, may process yan, no? There's an organized way on how to organize data, no? So first, we have to craft our hypothesis. So remember yung HO then HA natin. HO, it depends on how you craft your hypothesis. You can do better than me. Kunyari ganito, no? The selected 7 respondents does not suffer from hypertension. Actually, mahaba yung susulat ko kaso yan na pa maiksi. And okay na siya, briefly na siya. Does not suffer from hypertension. Itong 120, just to take note yung ano natin, no? Yung HO natin. So equal yung population mean natin sa standard. While your null hypothesis, your alternative hypothesis, selected respondents suffer from hypertension. So technically lumagpas na siya sa 120. So hindi na siya equal. So let's go to the second step. Alpha is 0.05. So take note natin yung alpha. Degree of freedom. Simply yung degree of freedom natin is n minus 1 for t-test. So our population is 7, sample rather. 7 minus 1, your degree of freedom is 6. Then we compute for the t computed value. Yung t computed value natin, ginagamit natin siya to compare later dun sa tabulated value natin. In order to identify yung anong tatanggapin nating hypothesis, no? Okay. So ito mean minus your population mean divided by your standard, divided it again by your square root of your n, no? So yung given na lang dito, ilagay natin dito. So compute this one, and then the next computation, yan, nalagay na natin. We minimize until we get now yung t computed value natin. Yung t computed value natin is 1.85. Okay. Nakuha ngayon natin yung t computed value natin. Let's proceed to the next step. This is where we'll now identify kung ano yung kukunin nating hypothesis, no? Ano yung i-accept nating hypothesis and also reject, no? Okay. So 1.85. So that would now be your t computed value. Then you have to find for your t tabulated value. If you remember your previous statistics, di ba, may tabulated value yan. So paano natin siya malalaman? You look into your degree of freedom. You look into your degree of freedom, no? I'll present a video, insert ko na lang dyan, no? Okay? So, na-compute ngayon natin yung TCV natin or your T-computed value. Ngayon, paano natin hanapin yung TTV natin para mailagay natin siya dun sa next step. Okay. So, your TTV or your T-tabulated value could be determined by your degree of freedom na na-compute natin, then your level of significance, which is already given. So, both are given. Okay. Previously, na-compute natin yung DF natin, which is 6. So, nandyan siya. Then, under siya sa first column. Then, ang level of significance natin is 0.05. So, nandito siya. Simply align 6, yung row 6 natin. Then, align it with 0.05. Our T-tabulated value is 2.4469. Or we could round it off 2.447. Okay na siya. So, yun yung ilalagay natin sa ating TTV. Then, after that one, 2.447. So, we now compare this one. Now, a principle that you must remember, pag mas mataas yung tabulated value natin than your critical value, automatically, you accept your HO and reject your HA. Now, the other way around, pag mas mataas yung TCV natin, compared with your TTV, will now accept your HA and reject your HO. Mapatites, ANOVA, chi-square, ganun yung gagawin natin when you do the manual computation. So for in this case, mas malaki yung TTV natin, we now accept your null hypothesis and reject your HA. Now our conclusion would now be no significant difference. Or we now graph our statement based from our hypothesis, the selected respondents does not suffer from hypertension. Yan yung HO natin. So, yan yung conclusion natin. Now, in your distribution curve, simply, kunin natin yung 2.447 para mag-gets din natin yung TCV at TTV natin sa distribution curve. Okay. Now, yung 2.447 natin, nandito siya, yung critical value. Pag lumagpas pa siya dyan, automatically, rejection area yan. Nasa critical value siya. Now, yung 1.85 natin, dahil mas mataas siya, so technically nasa loob siya, lesser than. So nasa within ng null hypothesis region natin siya. Kaya doon natin siya inaccept yung HO natin. So equal. So going back, kahit nakikita natin dito, nakikita natin dito na mukhang possibility high blood sila. The final conclusion would now be, hindi sila hypertensive. Malapit sila sa 120 na standard of blood pressure.